Namaste, angels. This will be the daily reading and the weekend reading for Friday, July 20th, going straight to the significant event in the year 1881 when Sioux Indian chief Sitting Bull surrenders to U.S. troops. How sad. And also 999, the date, July 20th, 1881, 99. 1921, Congresswoman Alice Mary Robertson becomes the first woman to preside over the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives. 1954, or maybe a 19, armistice for Indochina is signed. Vietnam separates into North and South. 1969, the first moon landing. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin step out from Apollo spacecraft 11. 530 million people watch live global broadcast. The numbers within that are the 8 and 11. 530 million, that's 8. Apollo spacecraft 11. 1976, U.S. Viking 1 lands on Mars, and Chrissy Plantia is the first, at Chrissy Plantia is the first Martian landing. I guess that's what they call that part of Mars. I don't know. It's spelled CHRYSE PLANTIA. Did you know Billboard publishes its first singles record chart? The number 1 is I'll Never Smile Again by Tommy Dorsey. This happened on July 20th in 1940. Famous birthdays: Alexander the Great, Gregor Mendel, Mad Dog Cole, or Coll, C-O-L-L, Edmund Hillary, Carlos Santana, and Mima Josevic. Would you believe the USSR recovers 2 dogs, first living organisms to return from space? This happened on July 20th in 1960. Famous weddings: 1608, Rainier van Oldenbarnevelt, what a long name, marries Anna Waitson in Delft. I don't know who either of them were, though. They should have said maybe, because it was 1608. So we kind of need to know who these people are. If you want to look, the guy's first name is Reynier. Then it's Van Oldenbarnevelt. So V-A-N, and then a separate word, Oldenbarnevelt. And he marries Anna Waitson, Weytzen. They got married in Delft, D-E-L-F-T. I never heard the names or the place. 1872, so another 9-9. Inventor Carl Benz, 27, also 9, weds Bertha Ringer. 1975, The Exorcist writer William Peter Blatty, 47, weds tennis player Linda Torero, 24, in Las Vegas. 1991, 11. Kirk Cameron marries Growing Pains co-star Chelsea Noble in upstate New York. 1996, Tony Award-winning actress Bernadette Peters, 48, weds investment advertiser Michael Wittenberg, 34, in Millbrook, New York. 1993, Joe Pertuzzi files for divorce from Annabella Sciorra. They're both from Jungle Fever, or she at least is. They put a parenthesis Jungle Fever next to her name. 2012, Game of Thrones actress Lena Headey, 38, divorces musician Peter Logren due to irreconcilable differences. And 2015, country singers Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert divorce after 4 years of marriage. Famous deaths: Guglielmo Marconi and Bruce Lee. Another sad moment on this day in history. Bruce Lee was both American, or from America and Hong Kong. His profession was karate star / actor, and he's famous for Enter the Dragon and The Big Boss. He was born on November 27th, so 11/9 or 11, in the year 1940, and was a Sagittarius from Chinatown, San Francisco, USA. He died on July 20th in 1973 at the age of only 32 of cerebral edema. Guglielmo Marconi was Italian, an inventor and a Nobel laureate. He's famous because he was an Italian inventor known for his pioneering work on long-distance radio transmission and for his development of Marconi's law and radio telegraph system, which gained him the 1909 Nobel Prize in Physics, another 19. He was born on April 25th in 1874, 9/11 or 11, and he was a tourist from Bologna, Italy. He died on July 20th in 1937 at the age of 63. July 20th, 1937, also 11. And age 63, also 9 again. He had a heart attack. Mima Josevec was Yugoslavian and a tennis player. She's famous for that and for the French Open, for having been the French Open champion. She's best known for winning the 1977 French Open singles championship. She was born on July 20th in 1956. Oh, she's still alive. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill her off. She's 61 years old, a cancer from Maribor, Yugoslavia. Carlos Santana is 70 years old. He's American and Mexican, a museum. He's namesake and lead guitarist of the Latin rock and band Santana. After reaching a global audience at the Woodstock concert in 1969, Santana released a string of hits, many of which include his signature Latin and African rhythms, not usually present in mainstream rock. He was born on July 20th in 1947 and is 70 years old, a cancer from Autan de Navarro, Jalisco, Mexico. Edmund Hillary is from New Zealand, a mountaineer and an explorer. Edmund Hillary, with the Nepalese Sherpa mountaineer Tenzing Norgay, became the first climbers to reach the summit of Mount Everest and to return safely, an act for which he was later knighted. He was born on July 20th in 1919. So another 11 with that date, July 20th, 1919. A cancer from Auckland, New Zealand. He died on January 11th, 2008. And 11/11, that date of death, January 11th, 2008. And he was 88 at the time. So two 8/11s together. Cause of death was heart failure. Two 8/11s or two 9/9s. It depends on how you look at it, I guess. Mad Dog Cole, or Call. Full name was Unshan Okala. He was American and Irish, a mob hitman in the 1920s and early 1930s in New York City, who gained notoriety for the alleged accidental killing of a young child during a mob kidnap attempt. He was born on July 20th. Something keeps talking, too, which is weird. I don't know what. That's twice I heard a voice now. I don't know if you guys heard it. Anyway, he was born on July 20th in 1908. So another 999, and was a cancer from Gweedore, Ireland. He died on February 8th in 1932 at the age of 23. He was murdered. Gregor Mendel, Austrian, a monk and a geneticist, founder of the new science of genetics. He was born on July 20th in 1822. So his date of birth is 11/11, equals 11/11. It was a cancer from Heinsdorf, Austria, and died on January 6th in the year 1884 at the age of 61 of nephritis. Lastly, Alexander the Great was Macedonian, a Macedonian king and conqueror of Persia. By the age of 30, Alexander created one of the largest empires of the ancient world, stretching from the Ionian Sea to the Himalayas. He was undefeated in battle and is considered one of history's most successful military commanders. He was born on July 20th in the year 356 BC. He was a Cancer from Pella, Macedonia, or modern Greece, well, which is now modern Greece. He died on June 10th, which is my ex-husband's birthday, and the date that it's 610, and the date that in the year 610 also, Muhammad received the Quran, the first words of the Quran. But this guy died on June 10th in the year 323 BC. He was 34 at the time, and the cause of death is suspected to have been poisoning. All right. Beginning with the dice, I'm starting with yes. Cocktail. Don't mind if I do. Yes, please. And weekend away. Sounds good, too. Spruce says party. Weekend away. I love seeing that on the weekend reading. Like, you know, whatever you were going to do otherwise, other than weekend away, forget it. And just, you know, get the hell out of Dodge, as they say, if you're able to. Just pick this up like this. I was beginning with the wheel, which we could say is a 10 of fire. It's a major arcana card 10, and it does represent fire sign Sagittarius, or the planet Jupiter. And as I was trying to pick them up, I didn't pick them all up. I exposed this other 10 of fire. Too much work, accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that leads to stress-related health concerns. This may be another reason why there's a need to, you know, get away if you can for the weekend. All right, so I'm beginning with, again, the wheel with Archangel Michael, a time of positive change. The situation suddenly moves forward, and fortune is on your side. Speaking of fortune, I saw this morning the jackpots for the Mega Million and the Powerball. They are 422 and 110 respectively, equals 811. Jackpot. And I think one does play on Fridays. I don't remember which one they call on Fridays, the Powerball or the Mega Million, but play both of them. What else do I want to say about the wheel? Well, in addition to being connected to the sign of Sagittarius because of the planet Jupiter, it's also connected to the signs of Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio because of the planet Jupiter. Opening to the Hermit, major arcana card 9 with Archangel Raziel. Spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, self-discovery. The Hermit represents the sign of Virgo. And it can mean, perhaps, not only together do they form a 19-2, which seems to pop up a couple times in the history for the day, but it can mean maybe something coming up having to do with the energy of Virgo. Oh, on Friday, Jupiter is in transit with Venus, which is currently located in Virgo. That could be what this is about. And now they want us to see, who's this? The Emperor too. The Emperor with Archangel Michael, organization and logic, structure and discipline, leadership. The Emperor represents the planet Mars and the signs of Aries, so fellow fire sign Aries, and Scorpio, again, which Mars rules. This is also about, somebody's father can be involved. Archangel Michael appearing twice here. That may have some significance as well. He's on both of these cards. A father, a government agency, you know, some sort of legality or something, authority. It'll be your energy just taking a lead role and really, you know, feeling empowered and not like, you know, relinquishing that power to anybody. You know, you like holding the reins and stuff. Nobody's got any strings to you. No manipulation or anything like that. King of Earth also being exposed right behind the wheel. And King of Earth has been with us pretty much, you know, the whole week. I like this. Generous, professional, responsible, and practical is the King of Earth. A successful time. Confidently accept opportunities you're offered. You have the Midas touch. And, you know, who better to have right behind the wheel than the King of Earth? And, you know, and the Midas touch there. This is about, you know, maybe a job or something coming your way. Or, again, some sort of jackpot, settlement, you know, lump sum of something. Credit, an asset. Homes, you know, buying or selling, all that kind of stuff. Oh boy, they just keep want to come out like this. The moon also making an appearance with Archangel Haniel. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. If there's any fears, I guess, related to jumping at an opportunity that comes your way like this to, you know, become more lucrative somehow, whether it's with actual finances and money or an asset or a relationship. I think the moon is saying, you know, shake off your worries and your fears and just go for it. Moon represents the sign of Pisces in the tarot. Can also be connected to the other water signs, of course. Also means that, you know, intuition is heightened, and if we're presented with an opportunity to anything, right? Love and money and, you know, material or whatever. Use your intuition too. You were guided to follow that too, and consider any gut feelings or butterflies in your stomach or, you know, all that kind of stuff as well. All right. Also, the moon about things being secret, done in the dark, the stuff we don't know. Opposite the Hermit, it can be, I mean, the Hermit's already about an enlightenment, but it can be about something particular coming out, some information coming to you, or some information in particular being hidden from you, and you maybe going within to try to figure it out. Emperor back. On that note, I will cut after this. So now the Emperor opposite the moon, which basically I think, again, is just like go for it. Whatever you're guided to do, take the lead, you know, handle yourself. Don't let fear or, you know, another person handle you instead. Coming to the Nine of Water, with which I think we began yesterday, or was our overall energy or something the day before. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, and you have a love of life. From the Nine of Water and everything going good to the Nine of Air is our overall energy. 9-9, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights. So this is like paranoia, anxiety, stomach in knots and stuff. Not really paying attention to our intuition necessarily, or even logic. This is overanalyzing, overthinking. Yeah, paranoia. I don't know how else to describe it. And maybe being, you know, getting stuck, and maybe insomnia. You know, stuck up all night with foolishness running through our brains, and that is potentially causing us to manifest negativity into our own lives. Crowning the masculine is the Page of Earth, who's scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. So more Virgo energy potentially. Could also be Capricorn, Taurus too, of course. Good news about financial matters, as we've seen a lot of so far. Wanting to do something more challenging, maybe even a new area of study for the masculine. Surrounded by the Six of Water, memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. A new area of study as it relates to the Six of Water and like soulmates, friends or romantic interests and all that kind of stuff can be like, let's explore a different way of, visiting our relationship. I'm open to going back to it, right? And learning new things about you and myself and, each other as they relate to one another. But let's not do it the same way we did last time. Other than that, the Six of Water can also have to do with children or something, and oneself as a child and childhood experiences and nostalgia, and not only past lives, but the past in general. Masculine subconscious, the Five of Earth, fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. So this could be potentially what's causing this, and maybe it's relating to children and or school. Maybe you got to send your kids to college or something, or camp, and you don't know where you're going to get the money. You're having trouble. You're worried, but the money's on its way. This can be talking about your relationship with money, and historically, something from childhood, a poor relationship with money. And so that's why you're always worried about it. When I picked this up, though, the Seven of Water is behind it. So this often has to do with children and stuff, too. Not necessarily. And even though it's not a court card, it tends to represent the planet Neptune for me in the sign of Pisces, which it rules. A complex decision. The need to do research. Stop procrastinating. And also up right behind that, the Three of Fire, abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. So this could have to do with abundance, or it could have to do with some sort of party of three. Where it's connected to abundance, usually patience is involved, and maybe that's why, again, some paranoia has began here, and fear and whatnot with the masculine. But again, the Moon, major arcana card, the Moon guides us to let go of fear and to still go for whatever it is on the table for us, an opportunity. Three of Fire says so too. It says to make long-term plans, to not be stuck in your head, and with worry and whatnot. But it also has to do with a party of three potentially, and sometimes a love triangle. Maybe that's where the children are coming in as a possibility. The next card here, it's upside down, but the next card is the Page of Water, which also can be connected to children very often. So this may be something, especially again, since the Emperor kept showing up, it could be you, the masculine, as a father figure and some sort of relationship with his child and or his child's mother or something. We'll look for more in a minute. As it relates to the party of three, you'll see that there's two here that sort of go together and one that doesn't fit. So there's like an outsider. Crowning the feminine, the Nine of Fire, don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage and believe in yourself. The feminine guided to persevere. Keep on pushing. She still has some fight left in her. She is surrounded by a three as well. The Three of Water, a celebration, a graduation, a wedding, or birth announcement, and the need to have more fun. This too can have to do with some sort of party of three and or children. Three of Water also connected to me or for me to like reunions and stuff, not necessarily romantic, but that too. Especially mirroring the Six of Water, which is a soulmate card in the tarot, can definitely be that, some sort of reunion between, you and a soulmate. But also the Three of Water about like the need to get together with other friends too. So like friends you haven't seen in a while too. Maybe that's who you go out for the cocktail with. You get together with some girlfriends you haven't hung out with in a while. Even if you don't feel like you're necessarily up to it, like you've been through it and you're tired or whatever, it's the weekend. You can get over the hump and persevere, stick it out and have some fun. All work and no play makes Jill a dull girl. Feminine subconscious. The 8 of water, a desire to move on. The search for something more meaningful, spiritual, and emotional growth. So if this does have to do with reuniting with a friend or romantic interest from the past, it can be a desire to move on from, the difficulty and from the past, and, to get into the present instead, and to keep pushing forward, guided by the 9 of fire. This is another 9, by the way. So there was so much 999 in the history for the day, and now we've had 999 with the cards too. The 9 of water, the 9 of air, the 9 of fire. Crowning, it's the 10 of fire. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that leads to stress-related health concerns. So I was just saying, too much work. All work and no play. Jill is a dull girl. She should, if you get an opportunity, feminine, to have some fun, take it over the weekend. At the root, the 6 of earth, gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, and receiving a loan or paying off debts. This can be from where the finances, the help, the assistance, in any form is coming for the masculine. And this can be, again, about love. It's crossing the 6 of water, first of all. So it can be connected to that soulmate exchange that's possibly romantic. And the 6 of earth is about unconditional love, not just love, at least for me, and the ability to both give and take it, and the necessity to both give and take freely. Love needs to be able to pass both ways. So that's what this card represents for me. Even if it's like, an exchange between yourself and a stranger, you give, a homeless person 50 cents to buy, a cup of coffee or whatever. That's an act of unconditional love, of charity. You don't want anything back from the homeless person, and they don't, they're not going to question your motives for giving you the 50%. So on both ends, it's the ability to give and receive out of love. Okay. Unconditional love. So, from that level to the other extreme, that's what it is. That's what this card is about for me. Also represents the planet Venus. And I said Venus has a very lovely transit on this day, Friday, Saturday, with Jupiter, very favorable. Venus, because I see all of her signs here, right? Here's a most prominent Libra, right? Here's the scales of balance and fairness, justice. But also all this like erratic air in the back, that's Gemini. And then, of course, all the greenery, and growth, earth is Taurus. So this is, Venus could easily be from whom our gift is coming. And I don't know if you noticed, we have 2 progressions too. We got one in this corner, the masculine moving up from the 5 of earth to the 6. So that's positive. And here the feminine moving on from the 9 of fire to the 10. At the heart of the matter, release or death in the traditional tarot, which represents the sign of Scorpio. It's the end of a phase or situation. This can be Jupiter showing up again at the reading, because again, it's Jupiter and Venus that have that transit. Jupiter currently located in Scorpio, having just gone direct about a week ago from retrograde in Scorpio. It's the end of a phase or situation. Spiritual transformation. It's time to move on. Well, the feminine wants to move on. Remember, she's got the 8 of water here crossing this death. There's a desire to move on, and to just, power forward. Further clarity, I guess, as to from what the feminine may be wanting to move, other than what I've already said, or toward what or whom she may be wanting to move. The Ace of Air, brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation and a challenging beginning. She just wants to start over. She just, she's ready to move on, like I said, perhaps from the past, and to have a new beginning here, even if it was difficult getting to, which we can tell that from the 9 of fire already, that, she's been through some struggle and maybe wanted to give up, but was guided not to. Ace of Fire says she's ready for a fresh start, and, one way or another. And if some truth can come out too, that helps us to get to that, all the better. Ace of Air also about victory. And as it relates to something more literal, can be connected to an actual move for the feminine, a physical move, maybe with the money having come in, to getting a loan, a mortgage or something, and it's the end of a phase of, you know, her old life or circumstance, her old living situation, and moving on to a new one, and that's cause for celebration. Right? So now you know, she's going to power ahead like the warrior she is. Further clarification to the 10 of fire, other than what I've already said. The page of air, logical, honest, impulsive, and curious, challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. So it's kind of like what I've been talking about already. Can be involved. Truth coming out can be involved in healing whatever one's situation is on this day. Some of the information may be difficult to handle, but you need it. So it's like that moon stuff, like the secret, maybe something done behind your back or something. But it's coming out. I had something on the tip of my tongue before. This could be the delay in what caused the masculine worry as it relates to his finances or situations of lack in general. The 5 of earth can be connected to relationships too, friendships, romantic relationships. It's about lack, or at least feeling of lack. And particularly in this position here, the subconscious, it's like worry about lack, because that's what you're used to from your past, you know. And maybe there's been, progress in that area has been delayed. So you haven't seen much more than lack, in your life or for the past several years or something. That's what's becoming burdensome and weighing you down. And that's what's coming to an end. And also an air sign may be an actual person, may be involved, an air sign or somebody with, the traits of one, a Gemini, maybe specifically as the page, an Aquarius or Libra, again, to speak of the scales of justice sitting right here at the root. This can be Venus too, again, coming through to help to deliver you some assistance in this situation. This can be Mercury. This can be Mars, currently retrograde in Aquarius. All this fire and air coming together. Also, speaking of fire and air, I said this could be Mercury. Mercury currently located in Leo. So all of that coming into play as well. I had something else on the tip of my tongue a moment ago. But yeah, I just want to talk about this lack for a second. This can have to do with, since the 6 of earth is here next to the 5 of earth and crossing the 6 of water, I definitely think it has to do for a lot of people with exchanges between, two people. And whether those are, again, friendships in terms of soulmates or romantic interests, that we're worried about a relationship sucking like one from the past did, or we've grown up with something that has, caused us, it's molded us in a particular way that's not necessarily positive. And we need to address it and get over it and allow death to come to that circumstance too, and enjoy life in a different way, in a more positive way, with the, having laid down our burdens and, being moved to power ahead, sword in hand. To let go of like the worry and whatnot. This is worry. This is, my relationship usually sucks, so this one is going to too. And sort of manifesting that. Or, my finances always suck and my relationship with money always sucks, so I'm just always going to be broke. You don't want to do that. That's speaking the negativity and everything, over your own life. Here's some advice for the masculine, for the feminine. And why don't we take a closer look at death? And for the most part, I also want to point out we've got two 613s equals 19 here. 613, 613. So those, of course, each equal 19, which also popped up in the reading quite a bit, in the history quite a bit today. But yeah, to what might this death be coming? And the Queen of Earth comes through to bring in, this is more Venus, to bring in, again, death to the lack that we had previously been experiencing. If you've been used to lack of abundance in any form, death to that. And again, that's reason to celebrate that money is coming in perhaps for the feminine, or that money or emotion and love and growth in that area is coming in for the masculine, maybe specifically as it relates to a relationship, and maybe even more specifically, not just a relationship, but a relationship between a Gemini and a Scorpio, or a Virgo and a Scorpio, or, you know, earth and air, maybe a Virgo and a Gemini, earth and air and water, earth and water. The Queen of Earth is thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach and deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. If this is an actual person that helps to facilitate this in your life, she is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Or again, could be Venus herself, not just, you know, a Queen of Earth because she is the planet and goddess of abundance, but because she is currently located in Virgo. And lastly, for the masculines, 5 of Earth. Maybe from the cards, what might be the specific thing about which he's concerned as it relates to lack, other than, I mean, it looks like money or abundance, because this could represent relationship too. Like what? We've upgraded from the 9 of air to the 10 of air. The end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Maybe recovering from an addiction. I think this is still about lack of abundance and maybe specifically money. I'll do one more. Oh, it might be one of those days where they're not going to tell me. Awakening, or the Hanged Man in the traditional tarot, Major Arcana card number 12, has to do with an air of suspension, limbo, a pause. What do I do now? Like, so that he be feeling lack of guidance, lack of, you know, a future, a plan. He can be feeling that too. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. Awakening of the Hanged Man for me represents the planet Neptune and the sign of Pisces, which it not only rules, but is currently retrograde in. And this can again involve some sort of party of 3. Major Arcana card 12 equals 3. Last one for that same spot. Just lack, and it's lack. They're not going to tell me specifically what kind of lack. And again, with the Queen of Earth, it can be finances, the material, right? Anything surrounding the earthly, or relationship too. The 5 of Water, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in the situation, and crying over spilled milk. The 5 of Water is... I'm not a fan of the 5 of Water, to be honest with you. To me, I find it extremely obnoxious and just ungrateful, inappreciative. And it's about not counting one's blessings for me. It's the energy of pessimism and doubt and lack, you know. But kind of like an oh woe is me, like where you could potentially be taking action to correct your own situation, at least by looking at things from a different perspective and, you know, looking at all the vantage points and how can I be prepared to move when it is time for me to make a move, like when this air of suspension is over, when the limbo period is over, what am I going to do next? You could be putting that effort in, but this is instead sitting around saying, oh, woe is me, look what happened, these 3 spilled, you know, and not appreciating the 2. The fact that there's 2 cups here, it showed up to clarify this. This 3, again, especially sitting here under the Six of Water, which can have to do with soulmates, makes me think this is a situation involving two people, in many cases on the part of the masculine, so as it relates to the masculine. I'll look for one more. Queen of Air. She is independent, experienced, realistic, and witty, and more Venus. This is really not telling me much. Objective decision-making, clearing away all that no longer serves you and seeing the humor in the situation. The Queen of Air, like the Page, is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, and can be Venus herself, which I think may very well be, as well as Mercury himself. I'm pretty sure this is all Venus, though. We have now the Queen of Air sitting here next to the Six of Earth, which represents Venus. And the Queen of Earth, underneath the Queen of Earth, which represents Venus. Crossing the Page of Earth, which represents the sign of Virgo, where Venus is currently located. And sitting underneath the Page of Air, which represents the sign of Gemini, which Venus rules. So this is really about us trusting her on this day and this weekend to come through for us, and basically trusting the universe, and as opposed to all of this doubt and anxiety and distrust of the divine, as if it doesn't usually support us, which is really not cool at all. Let's see what our advice says. Advice to the masculine, the Two of Earth. He's got some sort of decision to make, possibly related to the earthly. Too much going on at once, sort of what the 10 says, right? The 10 of fire that sits here. There's a need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. So maybe the youthful energy of a Virgo or a Gemini. Also, the Two of Earth about going around and coming to the same juncture all the time. At least for me, I call it deja vu from hell. And it reminds me very much, so you guys know, of the Rihanna song, Take a Bow. It's like, this looks like a rerun. What else is on? Like, I don't want to do this again. But it takes me back to the beginning, what I said right away with these two cards. It's like, let's explore, let's learn new things about each other in a new way. Let's take this old relationship, old love potentially, and revisit it, maybe because of the retrogrades pushing us to do that. But let's look at it in a different way, and let's try to experience it in a different way this time. So that can be that. And again, maybe an air sign is deciding that. A Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or maybe an earth sign is deciding that. A Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or maybe, they're in a relationship together. Same thing here, or a Scorpio may be involved too, here at the heart of the matter. Or maybe somebody like my God who sees me, a Scorpio sun with a Virgo moon. Somebody like that could be a possibility too. They may be involved. Feminine advice, the Knight of Air. You see, they don't look like they're not going to tell us any other information. We're going to tell you about this air stuff that's going on, and we're going to tell you about this earth stuff that's going on, and that's it. Stop asking questions. The Knight of Air is intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless, and can also have to do with the need to make a decision. We're awaiting a decision, or we got to make a decision here on the feminine side. And once we do either, it's going to, spur something else, right? Once that decision is made, like other things begin to move quickly too, as a consequence of it. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. The Knight of Air, like the Queen and the Page that are also here on the table, is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And there may be even, there's a couples here on the table with the Queen and the Knight. Not necessarily air signs or both air signs, but the Queen and the Knight can signify a couple, and maybe with a little bit of an age difference in between them. So, I hope that that made sense. I know I talked about a lot of possibilities that this could be. Basically, abundance on the way. To summarize, abundance on the way. Don't give up, even if you feel like it's not happening for me. And masculine, even if you don't see it immediately, how something's going to come through. Don't give up. Don't slip into this place of, oh, woe is me, it's not happening. You know, and manifest that, because we are surrounded by abundance on this day, and possibilities in the finances, material, and love. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the reading and find it helpful in your lives. Namaste, angels.